You are now in tune to Fracus and Darwin.
And now you wake and watch you sleeping in the middle of the night. Do the moving shadows scare you? I will protect and hold you tight. And I feel as though the world could stop and we would never know. And I feel desire, a burning passion taking me higher, like fires in the sky.
Hello and welcome. This is the Hardcore Underground Show, and you're now in tune with Fracus and Darwin. We're back after a couple of months break, and this is the HU Show, episode 9. As always, loads of brand new music to showcase. We've got new tracks from ourselves, Scott Brown, Outforce, Al Storm, Mark Breeze, all coming up for you over the next 60 minutes. Stay tuned.
So this is Dougal and Gamma, Fires in the Sky. This is the Fracus and Darwin remix, and it's out on DJ Tools Volume 2.
That's one of the 3 new releases we've got out at the moment. We've got DJ Tools Volume 2, we've got Clubbed Up Summer Anthems Volume 2, and we've also got Gamma's Muffin Music, Literally Everything album out now. Go check them out on the store. Also, got to apologise, we've moved premises and we're in a half-treated room, so just for this episode the acoustics might sound a little bit woo.
Now you wake and watch you sleeping in the middle of the night. Do the moving shadows scare you? I will protect and hold you tight. And I feel as though the world is stop and we would never know. And I feel desire, a burning passion taking me higher, like fires in the sky.
Dougal and Gamma featuring Jenna, that's Fires in the Sky, and it's Fracus and Darwin on the remix. As Nick said, out now on DJ Tools Volume 2, available on hardcoreunderground.co.uk. Honestly, cannot wait for this new studio to be finished. It sounds so echoey in here. Right, so live at Rehab.
Yeah, well, it's out very soon.
It is going to be the next project. We were just discussing off mic that we haven't done a podcast since we did that event, so it was quite a traumatic experience, really, all in all.
But well worth it, though.
But definitely worth it. I mean, it was busy. It's just, I think it was the stress of the technological problems. aside, big shout out to everybody who did come along to Live at Rehab on May the 30th in Coventry. It was actually definitely worth the stress for that album, which sounds amazing, by the way. So that's going to be the next project that we release. There'll be some details about that on our website and stuff very soon. Right now you're in tune to Fracus and Darwin. This is the HU Podcast.
I wanna see you again. Promise that you'll always stay.
Is the Hardcore Underground Show.
So it's been a busy couple of months, and we've got a ridiculous couple of months coming up as well.
Can't complain though, can we? Can't complain.
Cannot complain at all. It's good to see as well. We've always championed it with like selling the records overseas and stuff, but it's good to see things kicking off overseas as well. You know, places like America, Japan and stuff. The diary's looking good. So shouting out to all the international crew. Obviously we see the listener figures and we know that it's not just a UK thing anymore, and it is good to see people from different corners of the globe tuning in for music.
Check this out, come on.
Anyway, that was Fracus and Darwin, Ready to Rock, but it's got a vocal from a track we did with Al Storm thrown over the top of it. Been playing that out for the last couple of months. It's a track entitled Rising Sun. I don't think we've actually played the original. It's not really finished yet, but we've thrown the vocal over that track. Anyway, you can get Ready to Rock on our artist album Filth and Dumb Hatred, which is out now. Right, moving into this now, brand new from Hyperforce and In Your Face, track entitled Electricity. No release details just yet, but definitely a firm favourite of ours at the moment. Check it out.
A lightning bolt straight through my heart. Yeah, you got my heart racing. You got my heart racing. You lit me up just like a spark. I'm plugged in, veins pulsating. Leave my whole body shaking like your electricity. Like your electricity. Like your electricity. Like your electricity. Yeah. Electricity. Like your electricity. Yeah. Electricity. Like your electricity. Yeah.
So as usual, we've got a guest coming in the studio in a little while as well.
A very talented guest. He's been around for actually a while, actually.
Yes, Chris Fear will be joining us for a little bit of a chat from Essential Platinum to Core Fever.
He's just a very underrated artist at this point in time. Yeah. So I think you're going to see a lot from him now.
I hope so. So we'll be catching up with Chris, and we've got a guest mix from him coming up later in the show.
Hyperforce and In Your Face with a track entitled Electricity.
Shouting out to Himbo, shouting out to Rob. He's a bit of a hometown boy as well. Rob is, he's from Telford.
You're listening to the Hardcore Underground Show with Fracus and Darwin.
A lightning bolt straight through my heart. Yeah, you got my heart racing. You got my heart racing. You lit me up just like a spark. I'm plugged in, brains pulsating. Leave my whole body shaking like your electricity. Like your electricity. Like your electricity. Like your electricity. Yeah. Leave my whole body shaking. 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 Leave my whole body shaking.
More new music from us now. This is another track with Poison Rain, track entitled No Dark Clouds, which we completed for the Rehab album. Been going down alright, hasn't it?
It's been going down really well.
Even though we accidentally burned off one of the early versions of it that's got some mistakes in it. We've been playing that around the clubs, but never mind. Nobody's noticed. Nobody's noticed. It's all good.
And I won't wait another day for angry winds to blow away. I'm in heaven 24/7. I'm not leaving, 'cause seeing is believing. No dark clouds are far away, dancing in the summer rain. I'm up high, don't feel no pain, dancing in the summer rain.
Live and direct. This is the Hardcore Underground Show.
No dark clouds are far away, dancing in the summer rain.
Alex just found these monkey wrenches that I've got and said, "Oh, what are you doing with them?" That's how I try to get vocals sound like a female. You know, if you squeeze tight enough when you sing, you can reach high notes that you have no idea.
I can imagine it, isn't it? Before we take a vocal take, you're going right. Let's get the
perfect top E. Darwin featuring Poison Rain, No Dark Clouds, forthcoming on Live at Rehab album and as a single on DJ Tools Volume 3 in the autumn. This is the Hardcore Underground Show. You're in tune right now with Fracus and Darwin in the mix. So there's various ways you can listen to this show these days. We upload it to SoundCloud, but it's also available for subscribers on iTunes and on our RSS feed as well. If you subscribe, it basically means you get the new episodes downloaded to your devices automatically as soon as we upload them, basically. So it's really good for lazy people like me. More brand new music now. This is forthcoming on Future World Records, and this is Breeze featuring Heidi Ann. Track entitled 15 Seconds. Check it out.
Is what it takes me to look up and then realize my world is missing you. Won't you just give me one sign? My walls are closing in. Help me to analyze. And I will wait until we can continue on forever. I won't rest until then. And I will wait right by the place we'd always go together. I won't rest until then. And I'll dream of you every time I close my eyes, 'cause I know this is not the end. I'll keep seeing you till you're right here on my side. Baby, I will not rest until then.
You're listening to the Hardcore Underground Show with Fracus and Darwin.
So yeah, we are going to try over the next couple of months to actually make sure the show does come out monthly. We don't promise that it's going to be every month, every year, but
kinda. I think kinda's quite good.
Well, there's a lot of releases coming out. There's a lot of music being written at the moment. There's a lot of gigs coming up, so we thought we'll do another one at the end of September, definitely, and the end of October and November. We've got a lot of foreign dates and a lot of things happening in the UK as well. Including the return of our Hardcore Underground nights, albeit a small sort of club tour thing.
Yes, Kettering,
November the 21st.
At the Loft.
At the Loft. It's new. It's a really, really nice club as well. It's actually proper, clean, nice. It's the sort of place you could take your missus, you know.
But at least, hopefully, it'll be somewhere where we can go regularly, and it'll be like bi-monthly.
And I'll dream of you every time I close my eyes, 'cause I know this is not the end. I'll keep seeing you till you're right here by my side. Baby, I will not rest until then.
Breeze featuring Heidi Ann, track entitled 15 Seconds, forthcoming Future World. This is the Hardcore Underground Show. You're in tune with Fracus and Darwin. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter. It's @Fracus and @Nick Darwin if you want to give us a follow, and it's facebook.com/Fracus and Darwin.
This is the Hardcore Underground Show. Bit of a teaser there from the second Then She Breaks album, which is going to be dropping soon. That's DJ Red Alert and Mike Slammer with Ganja Man. That's CLSM and Chris Ross on the remix. Actually, if you want to check out this, a little interview that Uncle Doug's did on Rinse FM with Grant from Slamming Vinyl, aka DJ Red Alert, go and check that out on the Slamming Vinyl SoundCloud. You're listening to the Hardcore Underground Show with Fracus and Darwin.
Freeform for you guys. This is Eternity Solar Fields AB remix, which is out on
Project Badass album.
Yes.
I think it's on that. Whether it's on there unmixed or not, you have to go and check it out. Google Project Badass. There can't be many albums out there called that. It's got like a skull and crossbones thing on the front.
Yeah, I've actually got it. I actually sent
you had a track on there.
Yeah, I've got a track on there.
Yeah, well there you go. Even more reason to buy it then.
Is the Hardcore Underground Show.
From Entity now, track entitled Something to Say, also taken from our live at Rehab Mix, and we've been playing this out a lot recently. Really strong track, love it. This is the HU Show, you're in tune with Fracus and Darwin, stay locked. So yeah, Rehab, thank you to everybody that came to the party. We had people come from America, Hungary, Poland, Scotland. So thank you to everybody that travelled in for that. It was really good as well. All the DJs and MCs that worked so hard. It was really nice to hear loads of new music that people hadn't heard before, all played on one night.
And everybody enjoying it at the same time.
Yeah, in a proper warehouse.
Listening to the Hardcore Underground podcast with Fracus and Darwin.
So you might have heard this if you downloaded the little teaser mix that we did for Hardcore Heaven in start of August. We included this track on there, brand new. It's one of the best things Al Storm has done for a long, long time. This is a track entitled Hasta Mañana, featuring Mandy Edge on vocals and in collaboration. That's it. That is exactly how it goes. Al Storm and Euphony featuring Mandy Edge. So by the time you've downloaded this, chances are you will have seen that our artist album Feel for Dumb Hatred has now been released to mainstream stores. It's out in HMV, Amazon, Heads, Play.com, places like that. So if you haven't picked up a copy,
and it rolls out digitally at the same time.
It does roll out. It's on iTunes, it's on Beatport, it's on all the major stores as well, which is something we haven't tried before. So that was Al Storm and Euphony featuring Mandy Edge, track entitled Hasta Mañana. More release details for that coming soon, forthcoming Hardcore Underground. This is the HU Show, stay locked.
Are now in tune to Fracus and Darwin.
More brand new music on the HU show. That was Outforce and Geordie featuring Katrina Louise, track entitled Fantasy, forthcoming on GTYM. Don't forget we're going to be catching up with Chris Fear in a few moments' time as well. And we've got a guest mix coming up from him after that. So this is Hardcore Underground show. Stay tuned.
New on Evolution, this is Scott Brown, Promise.
And this is out now.
It is out now. I nearly forgot that.
So this is the last one from us for this month. Don't forget, we'll post the track list up on our Facebook page at some point as well. It's facebook.com/Fracus and Darwin. As Nick said, this is out now. This is Scott Brown and Promises on Evolution Records.
Listening to the Hardcore Underground Show with Fracus and Darwin. This is the Hardcore Underground Show.
Right, we're joined in the studio now with our guest this month, Chris Fear. How are you doing, sir?
Not too bad, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us. Now, as with all our guests, we like to do a little bit before we get into the what you're up to now and what you've been working on. Just how did you get into the music? You know, what's your kind of journey? Hardcore's obviously quite an obscure music form to sort of fall into. So how did it start for you?
Well, basically, when I was younger, my brother used to come back home from kind of like big illegal raves from back in the kind of like late 80s.
So proper acid house era music.
Proper acid house, yeah. Kind of, I guess, where a lot of it all kind of started before it all split off into the different genres and stuff. I kind of followed it up from there, just listening to the tapes as like a really young age. Things obviously started to get a bit faster, then they started to go kind of like into breakbeat. I didn't really used to go out like when I started DJing and try and actually buy like hardcore music on vinyl.
Yeah.
It was basically I'd just pick up anything I liked and they kind of like try and fit it together.
So it wasn't kind of one genre you were into, you were sort of into the whole rave
music.
thing. Yeah.
Just rave music. I think that's how most people sort of get into it. Until the day came when I went into a local shop down in Oxford called Metro Records at the time, and I picked up a record, I think it was either 95 or 96, and it was Dougal and Mickey Skidale, and it was Really Love You, and you're that track. And it was just the middle section with the piano, and that was it. I was hooked, and it was just happy hardcore from then on, basically. But
So do you remember your first track that you ever made?
that I ever made.
Yeah.
God, I think it was just called Track 1. Didn't even have a name. It was on like one of those blue JVC cheap sort of discs you buy from Asda, and kind of recorded it real time.
When was that?
I think I probably started making music in our little kind of home built studio around, it must have been around about sort of 2003. But it wasn't really till 2006 until kind of any of it got picked up.
So you weren't one of the people that sort of started producing music with an engineer. You were sort of self-taught from the start. Your first tracks were self-made entirely.
They were, yeah. It wasn't actually until later on that I got a little bit of help with production and getting tips from sort of like bigger artists and stuff of what to do in the studio. I'll tell you what happened. I basically had a friend which was into hard house music, and he was basically selling his recording studio. It was all hardware back then, so you're talking Acar samplers, big desks.
Yeah, well, that's the same sort of era as, so you actually had the whole process of having samples on floppy disks, the proper old school way of doing it.
It was actually quite difficult. I used to sit there going out of my mind with a manual trying to load one kick drum into an Acar sampler, and it took like all day. It wasn't really till the software kind of picked up that things kind of got moving. So
you said 2006, that was the first tracks that you did that kind of got picked up by labels. How did that come about? Because you obviously, I think, was it Essential Platinum were your first releases?
Yeah, it was actually MySpace. A friend again introduced me to obviously the MySpace site, and I wasn't really kind of like clued up at all with all that stuff. And I sort of like started building a profile, and I did a track with Lisa Rabbit called Don't Walk Away. I got the contact for Lisa from Hixie, just talking to him at a rave up in Milton Keynes outside the Sanctuary. Yeah. And it just sort of came together, but I put it up and it didn't get picked up for probably a good sort of 6 months, and then I just got a random phone call, and it was DJ Dougal, and I couldn't really believe my luck because I kind of always looked up to him like for years, and that was...
Well, you said, God, so this is coming on, this is like 10 years almost after you bought Really Love You in a record shop in Oxford.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
So that was the first single, but you've had quite a lot of album licenses over the years as well.
There's been quite a few. I've been quite lucky, I think. I was back on the back, of like 3 of the Clubland Extreme series. Hardcore Euphoria was the first one.
Yeah.
True Hardcore 2, and obviously some stuff with you guys as well. So
you've done live stuff with Dougal and Gamma as well, haven't you?
Yeah, the biggest one we did was in Alexandra Palace up in London. Again, couldn't really believe it. Just got a phone call out of the blue, and they said, "Do you want to come up and do a PA with us?"
So tell us a bit about your label, Core Fever.
Okay, basically, as you know, I was on Essential Platinum. Before it, kind of a lot of the artists with the different labels, as you know, now have gone over to Future World. So a lot of the other labels sort of like kind of stopped releasing stuff. So it came about because I was thinking, I still want to get my music out there, and people were kind of asking me kind of awkward questions. They sort of thought that because maybe Essential Platinum wasn't releasing, I was just going to suddenly stop and disappear off the face of the earth, which was never going to happen. So to start with, to kind of get the label off the ground, I did like an album and pressed up some hard copies, because like yourselves, I think it's really important for people to have stuff that they can hold in their hand and try and give like someone a really good kind of quality like CD rather than it just being like a download, because I kind of see that as being not sort of like a cop-out, but anyone can put something up for a free download.
People do generally like a physical product.
I think so. It's a shame.
We've noticed that.
You don't want to lose it. It's like the same with the vinyl. It's a special thing, you know. A record collection is supposed to be a collection and not just something on a hard drive. So that's the way I kind of saw it, and that really helped things, because did a couple of collaborations on there as well with people like Dougal, Ramos, WizKid, Friction's on there as well, and I think it worked quite well.
On the subject of your own tracks, and what can we expect from your mix?
A little bit of everything in there. I didn't want to just keep it to one thing. As you know, kind of never really do try and keep it to just one thing. There's kind of like some big kind of kick drum, plucky sort of sounds in there, some vocal uplifting stuff, a little bit of kind of like breakbeat in the background. just a mixture for everyone really, kind of like a big pot, and then chuck it all in, make it colourful, and hopefully there'll be something in there for everybody.
And while we're on the subject of keeping things interesting with the music, bit of this, bit of that, you've got an event as well, named after your track that's just come out in Future World as well, the Dougal thing you did with Dougal.
The rave.
That's right. So that's at the Ice Lounge in Telford on October the 4th. So as I said, you've got a bit of everything there, really. Who have you got on the lineup?
We're just trying to basically mix it up, and like it says obviously on the label, bring back the rave. This isn't kind of like an old school bring back the rave kind of thing. It's just about want that vibe,
the kind of rave ethos, the way that it's put together.
Kind of like a good, like we were saying earlier about the music, just a good kind of colourful mix, something in there for everybody. So you've obviously got Dougal and Gamma on the lineup, which everyone knows what Dougal and Gamma do. It's just exciting,
euphoric, feel good music.
Yeah, basically. I don't think they've like changed massively like over the years, but they don't need to, because I think the music's always been like really cool. Joey Wright has obviously got like a proper power stomp kind of tip thing going on at the moment, so he's kind of got his own kind of sound going on. Mark has always used his sort of like harder kind of influence, so there should be something there for everyone. Obviously you guys are on there. Vibes and Lively are doing a happy hardcore like 90s set.
Well, I think it exposes people, we've said it so many times before, but it exposes people to new music. If they're in there to see one thing, they like power stomp or whatever, so they go in to see Joey Wright, and then somebody comes on afterwards and plays something completely different. They might listen and hear something in the music that they didn't necessarily know existed, and they wouldn't have actually sought out, but because they're exposed to it because it's all in one room, it's kind of I quite like this as well.
Well, that's how new kind of like sounds come along, isn't it? And how people get into things, and then it spreads, and they tell their friends, and there's this whole new thing that they can get into, and it brings more people obviously to our music.
And where can people get tickets for that? There's just Ticketmaster, places like that, is it?
Yeah, if you go onto the actual event page on Facebook, you'll see a link just underneath where the lineup and the attractions are, and it will take you straight through to the page. There's also paper tickets, and there are people all around the country which are selling those.
So if people go into Facebook, they search Bring Back the Rave, they'll find it. That's October the 4th at the Ice Lounge in Telford. Dougal, Gamma, Joey Wright, Mark Smith, ourselves, obviously yourself, Vibes and Lively, Bubble. You got another new artist as well, D-Noise. She's somebody else to do with Core Fever, is she not?
Yeah, it's actually a female Gabba DJ. Really impressed with her knowledge with just kind of like that sound from around the world. There's like so many different artists out there, even I'm kind of like learning them. So it's just a really good thing to bring something different again to the label.
Just looking at the lineup, you've got Jacoby, who's another new artist you've signed music from.
He came up to me at HID in Spain 2 years ago and gave me a CD. I was driving around in a little hire car, basically listening to some music, and there was one track on there which I really liked, and I just kept playing it and playing it and playing it. And I thought, well, there's definitely something in this. I ended up doing a remix, which I think was actually on the Hardcore Underground
Presents 2013, yeah.
And then he carried on sending stuff through. I won't lie, I've always said the same thing to any artist, is I'm not going to like everything, but there'll be stuff in there which I kind of will like. And then there was a certain track, the one that's out now on the Core Fever called
Flatline.
And some of the recent stuff as well that's just been sent through from Jacoby. It's just been like, it's getting better and better, and I actually really like what he's doing. It's just very different. It's not sticking to the same thing all the time.
Okay, Chris, so thanks for dropping in, mate. We're going to go into the guest mix now. I'll take it you're on Facebook, Twitter, social media and stuff.
All the different sites.
Yeah, so if people search Chris Fear, they can see where you're playing, what you've got coming up over the next couple of months, and obviously news about Core Fever releases. Right, this is a Hardcore Underground podcast. You're in tune with Fracus Darwin, and we're going to go into the guest mix now. This is Chris Fear representing Core Fever.
Live and direct. This is the Hardcore Underground Show. see pain behind your eyes. If he makes you feel inferior, then leave it all behind.
Live and direct. This is the Hardcore Underground Show.
Right about now, you're in tune with our guest mix this month, DJ Chris Fear on the Hardcore Underground Show. Turn it up.
Welcome to the danger zone. 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 Sanity Now's the time to lose yourself. You've gotta reach out and touch the sky. Now's the time to lose yourself. You've gotta feel like we're flying high. Now's the time to lose yourself. You've gotta stand up and take control. Now's the time to lose yourself. You've gotta reach out within your soul. Feel like we're flying high. Feel like we're flying high. Feel like we're flying high. Feel like we're flying high.
This is the Hardcore Underground Show, and you're in tune with the guest DJ this month, Chris Fear, on the decks.
Feel like we're flying high. To lose yourself, you gotta reach out and touch the sky. Now's the time to lose yourself. You've gotta feel like we're flying high. Now's the time to lose yourself. You've gotta stand up and take control. Now's the time to lose yourself. You've gotta reach out within your soul. So follow me, and we can meet our destiny.
Direct. This is the Hardcore Underground Show.
Bass, flesh.
Massive thanks then to Chris Veer for this excellent guest mix this month and for the interview. Go and check him out at all the usual places, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Loads of good records to find out there. So into the last one again for another month.
The last one. It always goes really fast.
It does. Well, they say time flies when you're having fun, Nick. And we do have fun, don't we? So this has been the Hardcore Underground show for another month. Don't forget, check us out on Facebook. And obviously it's hardcoreunderground.co.uk is the record store. Lots of new releases coming up over the next month. We'll be back at the end of September. We promise, don't we?
We promise.
Also, don't forget our artist album out now in HMV, Amazon, iTunes, all those places as well. That's Filth and Dumb Hatred, which you've heard some music from if you've listened to any of the previous shows before. So, yeah, we'll catch you next time. This is Fracus and Darwin signing off.
See you later.
This is something that distresses me a little bit. It seems that the young people like all the same kind of thing. Now, I want more out of the young people than just that.
Yeah, well, they're being programmed by their radios. They only play the major radio stations, rock stations, only play 30 songs over and over and over, 24 hours a day. And it's been proven that what you hear the most is what you like the most. So there's really no choice involved. Someone is programming it.
So we are the victims of media.
Uh-huh. What everyone should say is the medium is the message, and the message is me. I mean, that's the answer, is for everyone to, you're asking for an answer. The answer is for everyone to stand up and say, I'm me, and be fully aware of that fact and let everyone else know it.
Yeah.
That you are yourself. And express it. And express it. And express it. And express